When a person starts to play a musical instrument, what they're really doing is learning to love themselves no matter what. That is a powerful spiritual task that is one of the best things that we can ever do. Each person has different reasons for starting. It's something that pushes at them, something that is completely different from everything else that they do, and something that's totally selfish because nobody else gets something because they're doing it. And that's really important. It's a self-serving thing that becomes wonderful and useful to them. The capacity is not simply that I'm teaching somebody, is that I'm assisting them to experience music. That's something different. From the first time I started working with somebody, my thought was that this person has a heart's desire. And so I would assist them to their heart's desire. And I don't know that there's a higher calling other than loving yourself no matter what, which is pretty much the same thing. But my ability to stand in people's energy and assist them to move forward is what I like the most. The interesting thing when somebody comes to me and says, I really want to learn to play gospel, or I want to learn to play jazz, or I'd like to do rock, doesn't matter what the instrument is, they have to learn skills and techniques first. And the skills and techniques have to be there, doesn't matter what style you're playing. And if you don't learn the skills and the techniques necessary to express yourself powerfully, then by definition you won't be expressing yourself powerfully.
Right.
Okay? But the idea is it comes parallel to the fingerboard and then it can come past the string.
Right.
But the first thing you have to do is parallel to the fingerboard. If you try to pull it off by throwing your finger in any direction but this,
Right.
then you don't get a very strong pull off on it. You get very little sustain. Okay? Great. Most of what happens initially is working with a student so that they are learning the skill and technique, the craft of what they need to be able to create and express the beauty of music. That takes some time, and I never tell people it's a very fast process. What I say is that we're working to get the left side and the right side of the brain to work together. And in that process, the capacity for the neurophysiology to express beauty grows. And that's what we're really looking for, is the person opening their mind to their ability to express that truth, or the beauty that they are experiencing.
1, 2, 3, E.
One of the things that I would say about learning an instrument is to think in terms of joy as opposed to fun. It won't be fun until after you know how to experience joy. And if the person teaching you cannot bring you to that place, find somebody who can. Think. The first thing that I tell people is this is about thinking. It's not about how it feels or anything like that, and assess through your thought. But if you're thinking about what you do, you have a much better chance of executing correctly. I say to people, I think you've had the experience where you're listening to somebody and it sounds like they can really play music and you could care less because there's nothing about them there. And then you listen to somebody and it doesn't matter what they do, you're mesmerized by the person because you're experiencing them expressing the music as opposed to the instruments expressing it. And that's a big difference. That's a place that I assist people to get to. When a person is learning and they feel frustration around something they did, or it causes them to clunk in their head and they freeze, that's a difficulty that we work to change. The techniques that I teach somebody to do are about being able to move to the next thing when they feel that. And by moving to the next thing, instead of giving into, it's a very powerful feeling, but moving through that feeling, then they become more adept at moving through that feeling. And when someone's first experiencing themselves making a mistake, they see their mistake like a line in stone. You know, when you're driving down the highway and you see where they've blown out the rock on the two sides of the road, you can see the drill lines where they drilled through the rock and then they drop the charges and it blows the side out. But those lines are still there. They're not gone. They're just all right there. And that's the way that most people experience their inconsistencies. They're, you know, very intense experiences. And my job is to assist someone to get to the place where they start seeing their inconsistencies as a line in water. You know, you take your hand and you move it through the water and you see the line, but then it's gone until it's like a line in air. Oh, you see that line? Well, it's not really there. And the capacity to go past those feelings and to get past that and really to allow yourself to be inconsistent is an extreme power. And that is really the spiritual power that a person creates by doing music. Yay! Now, did you keep yourself moving when you weren't certain? Did you know what I want you to notice is that I stayed with you. If you missed something, I just stayed with you and you got caught up. We didn't have any problems then. You did a really good job. But if you just stop and fall on the ground and weep and gnash your teeth, then we got a problem, right? Everybody wants their money back. It's a simpler way to get past those trauma-setting things, our embarrassments and things like that, by doing it through the music. And my feeling is if you can learn to do it bit by bit through the music, then you've softened what that is in other things in your life, and then you can maybe make changes there as well. It's my responsibility to assist and counsel people, what I would say, to their heart's desire. And getting to your heart's desire is about becoming one with yourself. That's really the ultimate heart's desire, is that I can express self-love and own self-love. And if I can do self-love, then I can do that with everybody. And that's really what it's like for me. Excellent.